What's up, guys? Here we are. I'm back, Ryan, aka Kid Moto. I'm back for the third in the video series, and again, I hope you like the fender install and the side covers, which is not an install, right? Just so you can see what they're like. And we are going to do the install for the saddlebags. So it's really just a saddlebag lower. If you order these from Advanblack, you're going to get the regular, you're gonna have to use your lids for the saddlebags. It just comes with the lowers, the lower portion of the saddlebags. And again, this is the Holeshot series, and these bags themselves are have a recess in them, just like the side covers. So it's really pretty cool. I'm gonna grab one of those. I'm gonna show it to you, and then we'll get to doing that install. So let's go right away to that, and I'm gonna grab this bag right now and show you. And it's gonna be up again in front of my face, but here is what they look like. Okay, so color matched again, has a nice little recess. They're a chopped bag, so you can see there's kind of a chopped portion on the back, right? So they're shorter. They're very cool. So these bags themselves are gonna be very similar to what you've seen, you know, some of the other kind of performance style bags. It's chopped in the back. The bag itself is really the size of the standard bag. It might even be a little bit smaller, to be honest with you. We'll see how this goes for me. I do typically overpack and fill my bag, so I'm gonna have to get a lot better about that. But very cool. I love the aesthetic. I really like the recessed look to these bags. Super cool. They're, again, the standard size bag, so they don't have that part of the bag that comes down kind of around your exhaust pipe. So they're not the stretched bags. So you're going to see a lot more of probably a little bit of the lower swing arm. You're going to see more of the lower exhaust pipe, and you're going to see more of your rear wheel. So that's really one of the biggest differences of these. Other than that, it's going to be a fairly simple install also. It does come with all the parts for this. And the biggest thing is you kind of have to take all the hardware off of your old bag and reuse it on this bag, which is really not that big of a deal, but it's just something that you have to do a little bit different with these. So we'll get to that video right now. All right, so part of what we're doing here now is we have to switch out with the new bags for the old bags. So the beginning part of that process, obviously, is you take your bag off. It's really just the two screws that you need to do that. What comes with the kit are these little kind of triangular shaped deals. They're gonna go on the inside of the bag in here and in here on this side. So for some added strength on the bags, you have to take off the inside section of this. So you don't have to take all the top part here off, because you're going to be reusing your lids. Okay, important thing to keep in mind, you're going to be reusing your lids. So you just need to disconnect this section off. The locking mechanisms obviously have to come off. The rubber grommets that are on here are already installed in the new bag, so you don't need those. And it also comes with some washers and some new mounting hardware. So I actually have mounting hardware that I've been using for a very long time that's flat, that I will continue to use, but these are metal, they're not plastic. These are very nice if you want to replace the stock mounting hardware. These would be really good options. This obviously the stock mounting hardware that comes in these, if you have a bagger and you've seen, they're giant and they take up a lot of space. These would be a lot smaller and would solve that problem if you hadn't done that already. These would be the next best option. So we're going to set these aside because we're not going to use them. I'm just going to hand this stuff to Bob because we're really not going to use any of that stuff. We're going to go ahead. Let's hang on to those washers just in case. We may end up using those washers on here depending on how that bag goes, but we're not going to use those. So the first step obviously in this process is we're just going to start taking apart the hardware and take this stuff off, because all of this stuff needs to be installed on the new bag. So this is part of your locking mechanisms. So that'll be installed on the new bag. Then we'll take this off, take the lid off. And then that will be installed on the new bag, and then we can put the new bag on the bike. So we're just gonna go ahead and get to work on that part of it. This part is, you know, pretty self-explanatory. What did you say, Bob? Is
T20s.
So these are T20s on here to get those apart. So it's really just a matter of taking everything apart and then putting it on the new bag. So we'll take everything off of the old bag. We'll set the old bag aside, and then we'll go ahead and install those new parts on the new bag. So, all right, let's get to work getting that apart. You'll notice too that you will need a ratchet to get inside here. A regular hex is not going to work.
T15 I like.
Oh, okay. So is it T15 on all of them?
No, on the inside.
Oh, inside bags. Okay. So you will need a ratchet to get in here because a regular or a T handle, a regular one like this isn't going to work. So. Again, most of these installs are very simple, and you wouldn't necessarily need an extra set of hands, but an extra set of hands is never necessarily a bad thing. It's just going to make this process go a lot smoother.
And it gives you time to bullshit in the winter.
Then there's that. All right, so once you've gotten those apart, that bag is separated from the lid, so it's 4 screws. You will see on here, there's actually red Loctite on there. So we're gonna put that red Loctite back on there whenever we are getting ready to install the new pieces. And I'm gonna grab some red Loctite because since these, we'll use the red, oh, this one's tight. We'll use put a little dab of red Loctite back on here and we'll put these back together.
Yep. And that's it.
Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So we'll put the locking mechanism together, or the bag locks on here first, and then we will, we'll put the bag locks on here first, and then we're going to put the lid on. So we have these metal plates. This metal plate is going to go in just like this, and it's just going to provide a little bit of stability on the new bag. Per usual, when you're doing these installs, obviously you're going to kind of take everything apart and put it back together the exact same way. So it's kind of a no-brainer when you're doing those, but that is an important part to remember when you're taking these apart and putting them back together. Now, on the back of these screws, there are washers on here, obviously to help take up the gap in there. And the other thing that I would tell you, just because it's been my experience, is that really do not over tighten these parts, because you do not want to run the risk of over tightening them and cracking something. There's no reason also to over tighten them because they all fit just fine. And it goes together essentially just the way you took it apart. It's a very easy thing to put together and take apart. So not that big of a deal. And really the reason why we're putting red Loctite back on these is because again, these aren't parts that you're taking off and putting on and taking off and putting on, but they are subject to all of the normal, what would you call it? Vibrations of a Harley Davidson. Road vibes.
Road vibes.
Yeah. So having them put in with red Loctite is just gonna save you some headache in the long run. I mean, blue Loctite honestly would probably be sufficient too, but I'm using red Loctite because there was red Loctite on there to begin with, and they are really more of a permanent piece that you're installing. And I don't know about you guys, but anytime I'm tightening, I always kind of try to go in that, side to side, or kind of crisscross pattern. So I did that when I did these pieces too. So we're just going to kind of lay the bag again on its side and we will be able to put the other pieces on here. And this is not necessarily a two-handed job, but like everything else, two hands makes it a lot easier. So we're just gonna stand this up and we're gonna put this lid down just to show you guys the fitment and to make sure everything is copacetic, closes and locks, perfect. So there you go. I mean, it doesn't get any easier or nicer than that. That is pretty slick. So we'll go ahead and open it up. We'll put that guide on there. And for those of you that don't know, that guide is, and they sell all kinds of weird different aftermarket of these now, but this guide essentially is just to keep your bag from opening and breaking your bag. It is a stopgap, essentially. Here, give me that. Again, just like before, we're just throwing red Loctite on there just to make sure everything is in place as it should be and that these pieces are not going to come undone. Good. All right, so that should be the lid there, and we'll go ahead and get this installed on the bike. All right, at this point, all we have to do is put the bag on the bike, and that's, obviously just a simple process, a couple of screws to put on there. So Bob's gonna drop that into place, and we'll be able to see what that looks like right afterwards. Essentially, this is where you just have the two bag screws that hold this together. I have different bag screws than what comes with this kit, and they're not the stock ones. You can obviously use the ones that come with the kit, or I'm using the ones that I purchased some aftermarket ones that have a little bit of a flatter kind of face to them, so it doesn't take up any extra room in the bag itself. So you close it up and you take a look at it, and there you go. You can obviously see the difference in the size of the bag versus the stock one. That bag is much shorter, right? Because it falls under that performance aesthetic. So we're just going to zoom back here a little bit and take a look at it. And you can see the scallops that are in the side of the bag that match. So you have the scallops here and you have the scallops here that match. I think that is such a cool look. You can see what a great job Advanblack does at color matching. This is the old lid that was on my bike. This is the new, the new bag bottom. So they are essentially a perfect match. So I really, really dig this look. I think this is going to completely change the way that my bike looks. So this install was fairly simple. I mean, it's like 8 screws and you put the bag lid on and the 2 screws to put the bag on. So it is a very, very simple install. All right, guys, there you go. Install number 3 in the books, right? Now we got the bags done. And again, like 6, 8, I don't know what it was. How many bolts? Maybe, I think there was 4, there was 8, 10, maybe? 12. There you go. 12 bolts. Bob's in the back here. He's the one that told me 12 bolts to do the bottom part of that bag, and then the 2 bolts that you do for the install. Again, really, really simple install. You can do it yourself. Go check out Advanblack and check out their line, the Holeshot. I can't say enough good things. This looks really great. I'm going to throw some B-roll footage in there so you guys can see what it looks like. But we did get some good shots of it once we got that bag installed. I hope you guys like everything that we did today. Again, that was number 3 for this install. The biggest part of this install that we have is next. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 2 sides. We're not going to do installs on those because it's just like this side. It's super easy and really doesn't take any effort. But the next biggest one will be coming in a future video. That one will be install number 4 for the Holeshot series, and that one is going to be the rear fender. It's a little bit more involved, and I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to have a lot of fun doing this one because a lot of the stuff that we put on this bike has to come off, and then we have to go ahead and take the old rear fender off We have to do some new wiring for some new lighting and put the new one on, new license plate bracket. It's gonna completely change the rear end of the bike. And that will complete the Holeshot series. So again, like, subscribe, hit the buttons below, make some comments. Like it, don't like it, hey, you know, I'm good with whatever. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.